Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Disney's massive stock drop after they announced that they were going to double their theme park spending. Analysts are not feeling it. They're not feeling it.
No.
It's the morning after because they made this announcement yesterday. They were going to spend an additional $60 billion.
No, they were doubling, $30 billion to $60.
Okay, it was $30 billion to $60 billion that they were going to expand their parks and cruise lines, but they were not saying what they were going to do exactly.
Like they've been doing with everything else. You know, it's
just
big, guys. I swear. Trust me.
Razzle dazzle.
And then when you see it, it's not. You have to pretend like you're excited when you're not. I'm talking about Disney.
Mickey is Minnie.
I like it. Mickey is Minnie.
Yeah.
Big Bob and Little Bob.
Yes.
It's all Little Bob. They just didn't tell you.
It's all Little Bob.
They promised Big Bob, but you get Little Bob. Anyway, continue.
Where's the beef, Bob? Where's the beef? So yeah, we're going to talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. If you do, you'll get a woohoo. Woohoo! If you want to celebrate the Dismal Kingdom, the burning down of an American institution, go out to shopclownfish.com. We have you covered with a Dismal Kingdom parody t-shirt, not to be confused with official Disney merchandise at all. You
bought one for yourself.
I did. They're very comfortable. And they don't shrink in the wash either.
Oh, so that's good to know.
So that's that. Yeah, I did.
There's a shrinkage joke too, but I will not make it.
Should I wear this to one of the parks? That'd be funny.
We don't ever go down there.
We haven't been there in a while.
I know. We need to, but we haven't been down there. Because every time I think about going, I'm just like, I don't care enough to go.
All right, so let's talk about this. Disney's stock tumbled more than 3% on Tuesday after the Mouse House revealed it will nearly double spending on its theme parks and resorts, according to the New York Post. It said on Tuesday it plans to spend about $60 billion over the next 10 years building out the lucrative but capital-intensive business. Is that a table or a thong?
I think they're bikinis.
Oh, they're bikini bottoms. Because you're talking about Little Bob.
Oh, because there's the tops. Anyway, So yeah, they made sure they mentioned they had 1,000 acres of land they could develop. Interestingly enough.
What the hell is this?
Advertising's more entertaining than our video.
It is.
Okay, but interestingly enough, about their 1,000 acres, right?
Yeah.
They just put out some information about Epic Universe, and Epic Universe is 750 acres for one theme park. So 1,000 acres ain't much.
No, it really isn't.
Definitely Little Bob. It's
Little Bob. And, I think what we're probably going to get is that expansion in Magic Kingdom. So it's going to be another fantasy land where it's like, oh, yeah, you get a kiddie coaster and a dark ride, and the queue's bigger than the dark ride, and then a bunch of shops and restaurants.
Wasn't there one in Zootopia? Get one over in Shanghai or whatever. Well, you have a ride, and then it's restaurants and shops that you can spend money.
Yeah. So this is, for those of you who missed it, this is Big Bob's take on it with the theme parks. It was kind of a weird, I'm gonna be honest, it was kind of a weird decision because Disney has been so focused on streaming and movies and not so much on their theme parks. In fact, a lot of theme park goers, people who spend a lot of time in Disney's theme parks, have noticed that Disney hasn't been putting a lot of TLC into their parks as they've been chasing the streaming chuck wagon. Now we're like, yep, well, that ship sailed. Let's go back to the theme parks.
Well, it's because the theme parks are one thing that they usually count on. And it was in the past before they had streaming. The theme parks are what saved their asses a lot of times. And they're apparently thinking, okay, well, we're going to go back to theme parks. And now the investors are like, wait, what?
Yeah. And it's throwing them off here. They said that the parks business has experienced growth following previous periods of significant investment, adding it will explore even more characters and franchises, including some that haven't been leveraged extensively to date.
What all this tells me is what we're going to do is we're going to do cheap reskins.
Yeah.
And meet and greets we're going to shove in. Because that's what they did. Like last year they announced, we're going to have a Figment meet and greet and a Mirabelle meet and greet and a Moana meet and greet and all this other shit. And that's what they did. They're just meet and greets. And that's how we put more IP. It's like they're just meet and greets.
Yeah, it's not.
Better not touch Spaceship Earth and shove your IP in it, or I'm going to shove my foot right up your IP.
And her foot's not mini. She's
no,
gonna,
it's not. I have big feet. It's
well,
a thing.
no, I'm just saying. Like,
I mean, I shouldn't say that.
You're
now
gonna.
I just started a fetish.
Okay,
But,
you're gonna feel it. You're gonna
yeah,
feel
I do
it.
not have. I have.
Trust me,
I
I've
have
had
big feet.
my ass kicked many times, and
You
I
have
felt
not.
it every time.
You have not.
Anyway, Disney's big
Liar.
Disney's big parks bet worries some Wall Street analysts. So CNBC had something on it, and they said they're completely confused. They don't understand why they're doing a 180, because before it was like, yeah, the parks are kind of supplemental to our movie business, but now we're just going to, screw that. We're going to go all in on theme parks.
Yeah, because they went to theme parks, from theme parks to restructure the company to focus on direct to consumer. And then we restructured the company back to being, entertainment still, but not exactly all on streaming, but still mostly on streaming. And we made all these cuts, and now we're like back to theme parks again.
Can we just admit that Disney doesn't have a plan?
Yeah, there you go. That's what
this
video
plan.
is called. Disney has no plan.
Disney has no plan.
And that's why the kingdom is on fire. Flash that shirt again. Yep.
Shop Clownfish.
That's Disney.
Look, you can get it in white too.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's on fire.
It is.
Because they have no plan. And then you think they have a plan. They're like, okay, so now there's news we might sell, ABC and all this other stuff. And then we're going to try to find a strategic partner for ESPN. Oh, speaking of which, ESPN, CFO of ESPN just jumped ship and was going to Warner Media, Warner Music Group. He just jumped ship to go there. He starts there in October. Now here's my thing. They're like, we're looking for a strategic partner for ESPN, but don't worry, ESPN's not losing money, even though we just gave it kind of free to Charter Spectrum people. We're just going to leverage that for advertising money. So trust us, it's a win. No, their new thing is now their CFO jump ship. I'm like, I'm sorry, but if a CFO thinks that the job's stable and they have got a good thing going, they're not going to effing jump ship and go to, Warner Music Group. Unrelated, but tied in.
Yeah, and that's kind of a downgrade, isn't it?
No, because I think he's in charge of CFO of the whole thing, where this is just CFO of ESPN.
But Warner Music feels like a downgrade.
Maybe it is. I don't know. ESPN's not doing that great. But I'm just saying, the rats are jumping ship to keep losing executives all of a sudden. And some of them might have been fired, but other ones I think are just getting out while the getting's good.
Yeah, that's what I think. Well, I think that's kind of what happened with Christine McCarthy too. I think she saw where things were headed. And she used the health thing as kind of a reason but between the many lawsuits, which she's been name checked in a few of those, and just looking at the writing on the wall, she's like, we can't steer this ship away from the Titanic.
She kept trying to tell them they couldn't. But yeah, so they have that, and then there's like no plan. So investors are like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And they thought they had. So the stock actually got bumpy because they thought, Bob Iger was going to come back. They thought he had a plan. They thought he was going to come in. He was going to trim the fat. He was going to sell off some of these unprofitable TV stations, TV networks. And that was,
Every time they mentioned that, their stock went up.
Yeah. They're like, oh, good. There's
not offers. Stock went up.
And that's what we said yesterday when they made the announcements about the parks. People were like, oh, you're going to cut some dead weight, which means that whatever's left is going to be more profitable, right? Oh, you're going to go in the hole again to do some theme park stuff.
They have to compete with Universal. And now I know Mitsubishi's opening a big theme park apparently to compete with Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch that's not just Universal. There's a bunch of people, coming for Disney in the theme park business. And Epic Universe, 750-acre expansion. It's huge. Like 85 buildings are currently in construction. It's going to be gigantic. They're coming for Disney. They can't just sit there and do nothing.
No. But they said that the plan caught shareholders by surprise. They dropped 3.7%, and their stock's already down, right? And
it was up to like $85. Now it's back down again.
And they said that expanding parks and cruises tends to be a multi-year undertaking.
Especially when it's Disney.
Yeah. As a result of which revenue and margin acceleration lags in the investment cycle. So basically, we can't flip it quick to make you guys a profit. You're going to have to wait 8-10 years to see a return on this. But hey, guys, it'll be worth it, right? I'm not going to be here. I mean, Iger's what, 70-some years old? He's not going to be there.
Well, this is interesting, too. They said investors are also upset because there wasn't any updates about ABC or the talks of Comcast and Hulu about what's going to happen with that because they moved that up. We don't have a price yet.
Right.
Nor do they have information on the strikes, which ironically, the two places, like we were talking the other day, that they're mad about, The View and Dancing with the Stars, that they're both still filming and people are pissed about, both owned by Disney.
Yes. So they've got so many big issues they're not addressing. They're just like, razzle dazzle, we're going to spend more money somewhere on the theme parks and the cruise lines somewhere.
Spend, but that doesn't mean they're going to spend it either.
No, they
do this all the time.
Yeah, they had that whole blue sky thing with Epcot back in 2017. They did about half of what they said they were going to do.
That's what people were mentioning too. And I think I mentioned it in the article I did. It's like, just because Disney says they're going to do it doesn't mean they're actually going to do it.
Right. And this is all, again, razzle dazzle, get you excited, get you pumped.
Didn't work.
Make it look like they have a plan. They don't. I think what's going on is I think things are falling apart behind the scenes. Deals are falling apart. And they're like, well, humana. We're going to spend money on theme parks. Yeah, it's going to take like 10 years though. But trust us, bro. Mm-hmm. Trust us. Yeah, so they're not updating anybody on Comcast and Hulu, and I think the price is going to be a lot higher.
Well, I think if they do, back to theme parks, sorry to interrupt you. I think if they do theme parks, it's going to be cheap. Whatever they do is going to be reskinned cheap.
Yep. But they brought this up in the, I think in the CNBC video, they said that, hey, yeah, didn't Disney learn last time that putting all your eggs into the theme park basket, not a good idea? Because
they hadn't had Disney Plus and McCarthy getting loans, they would have been F.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they were down. Disneyland was closed for over a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was bad. Like Disney World got open pretty fast because DeSantis, and then Newsom kept Disneyland shut down forever.
They said the spending could help Disney fight off rivals. They're expanding their U.S. presence with Super Nintendo World in California and Epic Universe in Florida, and not just them. And Universal, again, they're building those mini parks all over the country, and other people are building parks. And yeah, and people might be like, hey, I can't go to Disney World for a week, but I can go to this Universal Park in Texas for a day or two.
Because it's closer to me. Yeah.
It's closer and it's cheaper.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do. But they're supposed to have 1,000 acres. Well, that sounds like a lot until you realize Epic Universe's one park is 750 acres.
Yeah, so they said investors are frustrated by all this.
No shit.
Because it doesn't seem like they have a plan. They backpedal basically, and
so they're learning what we've known all along.
Pretty much, right?
Disney's full of it and doesn't know what
Disney's
they're doing.
full of it. They don't know what they're doing. There is no plan. Bob Iger was not
when they brought
the savior.
Iger back. It was like obvious there was no plan.
No, and I think their plan was we were gonna continue business as usual forever, and then the pandemic threw a wrench into that.
That's exactly. We're going to continue raising prices, and everybody will pay for it, and everybody will give us what we wanted because we're Disney. Mm-hmm.
So, back to Disney Plus, we were going to do a separate video on this, and it didn't really warrant a separate video, but basically, it seems like they're kind of like giving up the ghost on theatrical and Disney Plus in tandem with like, we're going to focus on theme parks because these movies now, they're just like, yeah, we'll just like dump them on Disney Plus.
Because they're not doing well. Like, I mean, Little Mermaid and Elemental, like Little Mermaid is like 500 and some million globally, and Elemental is 400 and some million globally, thanks to South Korea mostly. 570 for Little Mermaid and 478 for Elemental, but neither one made money. I mean, they probably just barely broke even. And now they're putting these big articles, record, it's 16 million views of Little Mermaid, and it was almost as much as, which is about, or it was as much as Hocus Pocus 2. We had 26.4 million views on Elemental. But they're not saying what is a view, what counts as a view. Is that per person, or is that someone watches it 10 times? Does that count 10 times? They're not saying how much money they make off of those because you get new subscribers off that, or are you using the Disney with ads and monetizing it through advertising?
Yeah.
If you're not monetizing it through advertising and you already have the same subscriber, you aren't making any more money. So what difference does it make if you have 26.4 million views? But people are waiting till it's on Disney Plus.
And they're it's cheaper. It's cheaper. It's movies anymore. They have to be events for you to pack up the kids.
People don't have the money either.
Yeah, no.
Economy. They said what people are down $8,000 a year now because of the prices of everything going up with the utilities and food and stuff.
So investors have to be looking at this like, wait a second. You've got cheap, accessible entertainment, and you're kind of sidelining that to chase theme parks and luxury cruise lines when people don't have a lot of money. Maybe Disney is just very, very hopeful that the economy will be fixed in 10 years. And people will have a lot of extra money to spend on their cruise ships.
They're doing the Disney, was it Treasure? And they already sold the $90,000 room.
So I mean,
they're not really incentivized to not go spend money on these cruise ships.
But like they're striking out in the movie. I mean, they were on a hot streak. Every damn movie they put in the theater broke $1 billion.
Not this year.
Not this year. Everything's been a dud. So far, everything has been a massive failure. So yeah, they probably are looking at like, okay, what do we do best? Well, we used to do theme parks pretty good. And the weird thing about that is, theme park fans have noticed that as Disney was chasing movies and chasing streaming, that the parks were not being updated. They were not being cleaned, maintained.
But we've been doing this since before Disney did Disney Plus. We've been doing videos. We were covering Disney for years prior. Disney parks is what Disney used to stay. It always brought money. It always was their money bringer, everything else. But you're right. Since they started doing Disney, I would say before Disney Plus, honestly. But especially
it was
with Disney
about
Plus,
2017-ish.
They weren't paying for the upkeep before. They definitely are not paying for as much upkeep as they used to.
Well, the problem I have with them saying that they're going to invest in the parks is it sounds to me like they're going to invest in new stuff elsewhere.
Retheming old stuff.
Or retheming old stuff. And usually you can tell like when their attention is divided and, they're building a park in Shanghai and they're building a park in Hong Kong and they're focusing on the cruise ships and they're building, Disney Adventures and Vacation Club condos and crap.
Well, some of the things are the ports they're going to put in Singapore. They have to put new ports in and stuff.
Yeah. So when they're doing that stuff, they're taking resources and time and Imagineering away from maintaining and updating Disney World and Disneyland. And it's obvious. I mean, Disney World and Disneyland both went for years without any major updates. Now, yeah, they do invest eventually when they have to. The only time, and I said the other day too, the only time Disney invests in their theme parks is when there's a threat of competition.
Right.
If Universal did not exist, they wouldn't have updated the parks.
But then they do this, and then they're going to charge you more money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, with this big investment's going to come higher prices, and it might even be something like you got 2 more meet and greets. Now you're getting your ticket increase. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, so Disney, the investors are not buying it at this point in time. They're just like, there is no plan.
There is no plan.
You just basically said we're maybe selling ABC and some things that were like the regular, what they call that, linear TV networks. They were going to sell some of those because they weren't performing, offload them to, streamline things like Disney Plus and the films and stuff like that and, work on things that work. They went from that to, hey, we're going to spend $60 billion now on parks. And they're like, wait, they need to be fair. Yeah. But the investors are like, no. And what if we have another lockdown? What if we have, people are like, I don't think it's going to get to that point, but there's like talk that they might try to pull that again. And the pandemic's back out, so people might stop traveling or people don't have money, so they're not traveling, which is probably the more accurate one. Yeah. And like, so now we're going to spend a lot of money and throw more money, good money after bad. I don't know. And then they're talking about selling the parks.
Yeah, there's talk about that too, or at least divesting themselves of the overseas parks or splitting Disney into 2 companies. One is, movies and TV and streaming, and the other is the theme park business, the travel business, and then talk to them selling some assets to Apple or something, maybe. I mean, who knows? I don't think investors are
nobody knows. There's no plan.
Yeah.
That's their takeaway. There's no plan.
We don't even know what's going on with Comcast and Hulu.
Nope. We don't know what's going on with the strikes.
No, we don't know what's going on with the strikes. We don't know what's going on with ABC. And I have to wonder if the focus on the parks, too, is like, yeah, well, these bitches are going to go on strike every other year. So let's just, focus on theme parks and we don't have to deal with it. We don't have to deal with the writers and the actors. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is. I think at this point they're just throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Well, I don't think the result was what they expected.
No, I think they thought people would be like, whoa, golly, Disney used to make lots of money off its theme parks. Yay, this is going to be great. And it landed with a thud. So, all right, we got to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.